are in the house with yours truly, Dr. Wendy Dearborn, and we are going to be creating today one of my all-time favorites. And yes, I know, guys, every time I speak to you, I'm telling you it's my favorite food. I just love food, but this was my favoriteest fast food, and it was from Panda Express. I absolutely loved orange chicken, and my husband can verify for you that any state that I would travel to, I'd be looking to find out, you got a Panda Express there, you got a Panda Express in the airport, near the airport. You know, I'd be looking for a Panda Express. I absolutely loved the food. That being said, I stopped eating meat, and so therefore things like orange chicken went by the wayside. However, what I decided to do was to make orange salmon, just like the orange chicken, and orange shrimp, just like the chicken, and orange tofu. And that's what I'm going to prepare for you today. And I decided to do the tofu for the vegan, or should I say for the vegetarian option. Not necessarily vegan. If you want it to be vegan, you definitely leave out the eggs and perhaps use flax seeds. So that being said, we're going to take a look at what we have on our cutting. We are going to talk about what we're going to need to make the sauce first. I have a tablespoon of finely minced ginger. I have a tablespoon of finely minced garlic. I have approximately a quarter of a teaspoon of orange zest, fresh orange zest. And I have 4 dried chilies that I have sliced. I've cut in half, so that's 4 dried chilies. I also have on our cutting board a tablespoon of soy sauce. I have a tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, and I have half a tablespoon of sherry. This is the je ne sais quoi. Okay, and so into that we're also going to add quarter of a cup, and that's nicely packed, quarter of a cup of brown sugar. And of course, it's orange chicken, and I have 1.5 cups here of freshly squeezed orange juice. Freshly squeezed orange juice. Alrighty. And of course, my spring onions. If I didn't say spring onions, I have spring onions cut on the bias. I have about 5 spring onions here. They were really small. And that is also to give flavor and garnish. So that's that. Now, I have, as I said before, I have elected to use salmon, and what I did was, the salmon has been marinated for about 5 minutes. I just took this out of the fridge, and it's marinating in light soy sauce. The same is true of the shrimp, light soy sauce. And for the tofu, I put it into a darker soy sauce with a hit. I just gave it a hit of sesame oil, because while I love tofu, I like it to actually taste like something when I bite into it for the most part. And so I had that marinating, and this has been marinated for maybe about 25-30 minutes. Okay, so those are our proteins. Again, salmon, shrimp, and of course our tofu. All right, guys. Okay, now the batter is going to be in 2 parts. I have 2 eggs. And in this bowl I have some potato starch. And the potato starch is very, very lightly seasoned. You don't want to put too much in here, because you don't want to overwhelm anything, and you don't want it to be for it to be too salty. So this is lightly seasoned with maybe a dash of salt and a dash of white pepper. Now, as I said, I have 2 eggs, and for my actual breading, because this is also a gluten-free dish, I am using half a cup of tapioca starch and half a cup of corn starch. Okay, so this is a gluten-free dish. So guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to actually prepare the protein, or prepare the shrimp, the fish, and the soy, the tofu, for frying, and then we'll prepare the sauce. So we'll get right to it. So what I've done here is I have sprinkled 1.5 tablespoons of potato starch onto the salmon, 1.5 tablespoons of potato starch onto the shrimp, and about the same, about 1.5 tablespoons onto the tofu. And if I need any more, I'll use it. And I'm just going to kind of mix that up. If you're going for a vegan option, this might be enough. This might be enough to bread it and to then dredge it in the flour. If not, if you're going for a vegan option, you can definitely use flaxseed as an option. And the same thing here, I'm going to mix it up a little bit because I want it to form like a sticky base. And I'm going to add some egg to that, to all of them. I'm going to add a little egg to all of them. And again, if you're looking for a vegan option for the tofu, what you would use is either egg replacer. There you go. What you would use is egg replacer or flaxseed. I'm going to add a little bit more to you because we want the batter to stick, and that's what this really is. This is the first sort of line. So I wound up adding approximately 2 tablespoons of potato starch, because what you want this to be is like sticky, which it is. So I wound up adding 2 tablespoons of the potato starch to our protein. That's our shrimp and our salmon. And then now what I'm going to do is put it into our dredge it through the flour and set it up on a plate so that it's ready for frying. Okay guys, so we're going to start that process. What we're going to do is we're going to put the salmon into our batter and make sure it's well coated. Oops. We're going to make sure he's well coated. Shake off the excess and we'll set him up for frying. And then we're going to do that with the rest of the salmon. We're going to do that with the shrimp. And guys, oh, you may have noticed that I left some of the salmon with the skin on and some with the skin off. I think it cooks better with the skin on, and we just wanted today to make sure. Okay, and this is what we do. This is how we do it. Same is true for the shrimp. Same is true for the shrimp. And we just dredge it through. Same is true for the shrimp. And we'll continue on until all the shrimp has been breaded, and then we will fry it up. Okay guys, into our wok we have approximately 2 cups of vegetable oil. Now the oil has been heated to 350 degrees, between 350 degrees and 375. You don't want it any hotter than that or any cooler than that. Cooler than that, your fish will come out soggy and greasy. Hotter than 375, it's going to burn, which means your breading will burn on the outside and your fish will be not cooked or undercooked on the inside. So what you do is you put your fish, and don't overcrowd the pan because it can lower the heat. So you put your fish into the wok and you start cooking your fish until, as you can see here, it becomes golden brown on all sides. And that's what you are looking for, because that golden brown, if you hit it right, it's going to be crunchy, it's going to be crispy. And it's actually going to maintain a little bit of that crunch when you actually put it into the orange sauce. So because we are cooking multiple things, the shrimp and the tofu and of course the salmon, what I've elected to do is actually cook all the salmon first. I'm going to cook all the salmon first. Okay. And then I'm going to go back in and cook all the fish. Now, as you can see, the fish is golden brown. What you do is you remove it from the oil and you place it on absorbent paper to drain. And we're going to go ahead on and cook the shrimp. I'm going to put in my shrimp. And the shrimp really don't take long. You don't want to overcook them. You overcook the shrimp and they become like a rubber. They do. They become very rubbery. They're tough. And you don't want that. And then the last thing I'm going to fry will be the tofu. And once the shrimp's done, remove them and put them to drain so the excess oil drains off. And I'll just put mine. And then we'll add the tofu. Once the tofu is golden, you will remove the tofu and also put that to drain. We're going to turn the heat off, and then we're actually going to remove the oil and wipe the pan out, the wok, and then we're going to make the sauce. So we'll be right back. I have about 2 tablespoons of oil left in the pan. It's about 1.5 tablespoons, and we're going to start making our sauce. And this is our salmon, our shrimp, and our tofu, and that's what's going to be going into the sauce. So right, guys, we are going to first add our chili peppers. And you don't want the wok to be too hot, okay? But you do need a little heat in there. But we're just gonna saute our peppers, and this will give it a little bite. It won't be hot, but it'll give it a little like, hey, something's going on in here. All right. Then I'm going to add all the ginger. Okay. Just give it a nice stir around until the ginger becomes fragrant. I'm then going to add the garlic. And what you want is, you want this to be really fragrant. You want to be able to smell the garlic and the ginger. I'm going to add the orange zest. It's an important component, I believe, because of the orange oil, and it just adds a little more depth to the dish. It adds a little bit more depth to the flavor of the dish. Okay, and you can really smell that. Okay, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more. I'm going to crank the heat up just a little bit more, and I am now going to add the orange juice. Okay. All right. That's the orange juice. Okay. All right, guys, and we are gonna mix that a little bit, and we're gonna start bringing that to a boil. And while it's doing that, we're going to add the soy sauce. We're going to add the rice wine. And as I said to you guys before, the je ne sais quoi. the je ne sais quoi. The sherry. Give that a little mix. We're going to add the sugar, brown sugar. We're going to let that all dissolve. We're going to bring it all to a boil so the sugar can dissolve, so everything can dissolve. And then we'll add the thickening agent. So I'm going to add my cornstarch. Bring it right up to a serious rolling boil. I've just cranked the heat back up. Make sure that's mixed well. Bring it to a boil, you'll see that it'll thicken up really nicely. Remembering that you do have the breading, that when you put that back into the wok, it will thicken it up even more. That's it, alright, like that. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to add the salmon, which is here. I'm going to add the salmon. Put the salmon in. And give that a little coat. Yay, mama. Alright. And then I'm going to add everything else. There you go. And let that heat up really nicely. Heat it back through. Needs to be heated all the way through. This actually looks very good. Alright. I'm going to add my green onions, some green onions. And I'll save a little for garnish. And that's it, guys. I'm going to turn the heat off. Turn the heat off. Toss it around a little bit. And that, my guys, are it. I'm going to plate it up. We have salmon, we have shrimp, and we have the tofu. All done in an orange sauce. Just like the orange sauce that you get at Panda Express. And I'm actually going to give it a little taste test. I'm going to give it a little taste. I'm going to do the shrimp. With a little rice. It's got that kind of tang that the orange chicken has. The rice is good. I just got a hit of ginger. This is the soy. This is the tofu. Actually, that's really good. For those of you who are vegan and vegetarian, that would be really, my husband's giving me that look. Vegan and vegetarian, that'd be really good. So guys, sorry, I forgot. This is really good. Try it. I'm gonna finish eating my dinner. Guys, bon appetit! Come on guys, I'm gonna eat.